Good evening, gentlemen. Just a quick video this evening just to keep things rolling. This is an H9270, I think. Yes, H9270 QBus backplane, and this is what I was going to build my PDP-11 in before I got that H11. And it's nice and small and handy, a lot smaller and handier than the H11 itself. So I think it would be useful to get this working, because it'll be useful for testing all of those cards. It'll take up way less space on the bench. You know what I'm saying? And if something does go critically wrong, I'll blow up something other than the H11. It's got 8 QBus slots on it. It's an AB backplane, so there are no CD slots in this thing. It just goes, you know how QBus backplanes do. And it has some lugs on the bottom for connecting power to it. And the DEC modules, and as far as I can tell, all of the Heathkit modules that I've got only use 5 volts and 12 volts. The negative 12 volt line isn't used even by the serial cards that I can tell. I haven't looked at the schematics close enough. Legs bent. I haven't looked at the schematics close enough to tell how they're generating the negative voltage for RS-232, or EIA as they call it in the olden days, serial on that thing. But apparently they're doing it some way, because unless I'm looking at the cards wrong, the negative 12 volt pads on the edge connectors aren't even connected to anything, so they must be using some kind of charge pump or something. Anyway, I think this is an 18-bit backplane. I'm pretty sure it's not 22-bit, but it's got all these wire wrap pins on the bottom, so it's really easy to convert it to 22-bit. You just have to run some wire wrap along those last 4 address lines. But the most difficult thing is that PDP-11 power supplies generate some signals that are required for the CPU to initialize. And since we only need 5 and 12 volts for these modules, I'm thinking I'm just going to solder a male Molex connector onto my little board thing, and use that to power the thing off of a PC power supply. But we have to generate these power quality signals to get the CPU module to initialize, and I was trying to decide how I wanted to do that. On one hand, we could use a microcontroller like the ESP32, and that would be really easy. We just write a little code that would raise a couple of lines after it initialized. And doing that with an ESP32, we could make that part of like a FabGL application that acted like a VT100 terminal, and we could have like VGA output and PS2 keyboard input and generate the power supply signals all with this module and like stick it to the side of the backplane somewhere. But that seems a little cheaty. I think we ought to generate them with RC circuits and Schmidt trigger buffers of some kind, because when we get into the schematic of this RAM card that I've been working on, we'll see some of that too. But in any case, we'll look at that later. The way these signals have to work is, okay, once the power comes up, the CPU asserts this active low B init signal, alright, and that resets all of the cards that are installed in the backplane, right, and it stays low until this BDCOK signal goes high, and that the power supply is supposed to send that signal. Alright, and when that goes high, it signals that the power is good, and init is released and execution begins, right? And sometime later this BP-OK signal goes high as well. I think that has to be high for execution to commence correctly. I'm not sure why init is released before that one is asserted, but in any case, during normal operation, both of those signals stay high, and I think that's all we need to worry about. We're not dealing with the the backplane has a connection for battery power. That's what this plus 5B is. But we're not going to use that. We're just being hobbyists. This isn't in some kind of industrial application where things have to shut down in a reasonable fashion when the power cuts. So we can ignore all of this. So basically all we have to do is, when the power comes on, send this assert this signal, wait for 70 microseconds, and then assert this signal, and then keep them both high forever. And I think we can probably do that with a couple of RC circuits and a Schmitter buffer of some kind. So that'll be a little more old school. I don't know. Maybe I ought to just do it with an ESP32, since we'll probably end up building this into some kind of little card that plugs straight into the serial board that provides VGA and PS2 keyboard input. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think would be good to do. It's really late, so I'm not going to work on this tonight, but I wanted to make a video just to keep myself rolling along. So that's what we'll be looking at soon, I guess. All right. See you next time. Thank you for joining me.